Yeah, you made it lock in. Court lights flicker, I'm feeling that tip-off fever. NBA dreams spin tight like a crossover sleeper. Fourth and inches in the cold, crowd breathing like smoke. NFL grit in my voice when the pressure get woke. Engine scream through the night, that F1 razor. Lines cut clean, turn sharp like a hometown savior. NASCAR drift in my blood when the pace gets wild. I talk speed like a veteran, move calm like a smile. Legends born out of sweat, out of heartbreaks echo. I break plays down smooth, call the game like a maestro. Every lane that we touch, every story we show, this is where the truth runs. The NotBland Show. Fast, race, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch the moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with a champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show.
Lock in.
You made it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's lock into the NotBland Show. I'm your host, Dujane Bland. Today we're going to have fun. It's going to be a great day to talk about what we saw last week, this past weekend in Sonoma. Look ahead and look at the points. And, you know, there's a lot of good going on within the NHRA and the Mission Foods drag racing series, but there's also a lot of head scratchers as well. And we're going to get into all of that today as we start looking ahead. And we're inching ever so closer to the end of the regular season and heading in to the playoff time. So, there are some teams that need to get it together. They need to get it together quickly. I want to thank Sports Journey, our affiliate VTRN Sports, powered by ESPN. I want to thank them as well. But most importantly, I want to thank our sponsor, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It was another week and another crazy one. Pro Stock did a lot of people in. I think that's why there wasn't really a whole lot of movement in a lot of the top 10 or in a lot of the leagues because of Pro Stock. Really bad, but really good as far as the show goes. And we'll talk all about it. Definitely, we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about more right after we pay these bills. And when we come back from paying these bills, we'll get into it.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Yeah, man, it was a tough one, and we'll get into the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza top 10 here in the middle of the show tonight. Blake doing excellent. It is another great day, and another great day to talk about some sports, and also to talk about the sport that we love so much, and that is really in full swing right now, and that is drag racing. What a weekend at Sonoma. A sellout again for the NHRA. I really enjoy what they're doing. Having Gary Selsey was fantastic. Missed that guy a lot. It was fantastic having him in the booth there as well. And unfortunate set of circumstances on Friday. I don't know much more that you can do. I believe both of those cars had diapers on them. It's just that the explosions were just that severe that there's no amount of diaper that was going to hold that in. So it got on the racetrack, and that's unfortunate. It's a tough thing to clean up, and I know that they're trying different things. I know I will this week reach out to Brian Loans and see, was it just that the stuff didn't work? Was it just that it worked, but it took more time than they initially thought to clean up? All those things would be very interesting, and hopefully we'll have a report next week about that. Good afternoon, Doug. Appreciate you tuning in. Everybody who's tuned in right now, thank you for tuning in. He said, I hope during the next TV deal we get the style of broadcast we did Friday night. That was awesome. It was. It was. It was a great, great. We got a teaser. Yes, you can do a teaser. Absolutely. Yeah, it was a great broadcast. Great broadcast. And yes, I would love to have that style of broadcast all the time. All the time. And I really just think it all boils down to when we're talking about the broadcast, we're talking about NHRA TV, it requires more people. It requires more people. And I think that's where the investment has to be. I think having a variety of people who can be on the color commentating and commentating side of things, I think Galvin does an excellent job. Um, you know, we could have more people in the pits to help with reporting. I think that variety, different styles of that would be great. But yeah, it was a great, great broadcast. I love the way they did it, and it seems like a lot of those Friday night ones are really cool to have, and they're really fun. So hopefully they can do that. Hold on, I was just getting ready to let's see what we got here. She says, we have a sponsor for the U.S. Nationals. That, my friends, is awesome. That is great. And I hope that with this sponsorship at the U.S. Nationals, that this steamrolls into more in a longer term for sponsorship as you guys can be out there even more. But that is absolutely amazing. And it is great to hear. Definitely want to see Lex out there. I want to see everybody out there from Krista to Spencer, everybody out there at the U.S. Nationals. But this is awesome, and I hope that that sponsor can be more than just one race. But U.S. Nationals is super important, so that makes me feel good, definitely. Yeah, you know what? That is a very good point. And we'll start in pro stock since we're there, and you brought that up. Um, Regardless of how she got there, and I'll tell you, it seems as if they have the ability to be players with KB. It just doesn't seem to always show up consistently on every run. But when you have Greg Anderson being darn near frozen or semi sleep on the starting line, you have cars. You saw Chris Vang come out there, go number one. That was cool to see. But also, both didn't have great lights. Car didn't perform nearly as well as it had throughout qualifying. Those things are strange. But it was nice to see Erica to get a couple. I thought she might win that one, but just not enough. And uncharacteristically, I wouldn't say it's really bad to say that a 32 light is late. She's just a little bit quicker than that. Greg was just a little bit quicker, and I think that's really what the deciding factor was on the starting line. But it is nice to see the car coming around. I know they'd like to have this thing and had this ball rolling a little bit earlier in the season, but we'll see how it goes in the next couple of races, and that's going to be important for the countdown as well. I think you have to start seeing some positive movement within that, because if you don't, I think you're floundering around, and I don't think you can just turn it on during the countdown. Oh man, it is nice to be. This is the NotBland Show. I know. I don't know if I'll make it to Indy. I have to though, at some point. But man, I wish I could be there. Um, I really wish I could be there. Yeah, but we're gonna make it happen at some point. I will be there, and you guys will be the first pit that I go to. Uh, eh, I don't know if it was a Ford or that he's not interested, and maybe you know there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of things that people don't know. It was cool to see Jasmine get the respect that she deserved, but it's a little late in my opinion because that was part of the reason why they were doing what they were doing. Obviously, the car needed more laps, and you're going to go and make the money that you need. But I mean, let's be real here. I don't think that there is a whole heap of respect shown for the Salinas when they were out there. I felt like they were taken for granted, and when they're not out there and they're racing somewhere else, now all of a sudden we're ready to throw out and throw on a heap of praise on them as they have come back, and they have been going back and forth between NHRA and IHRA. But you know what I mean. Now we're ready to throw a heap of praise on her. I just that's cool, but sometimes I feel like with certain people when they're a certain way, I'm just like keep the same energy, bro. We've been doing this, but I don't know. We'll see if he does bring a car out and come back. But I think he's also, you know, looking to get and see his daughter move and continue to move forward. And they made some big leaps this weekend as well. Um, when you look at the pro stock ranks and with what we saw this past weekend, we saw a lot of cars that we wouldn't normally see really make some big moves and really run quite well. I mean, you have to give Mason McGahey a lot of credit for what they were able to put together. Obviously, didn't transpire in round two, but you see some progress with that team. You saw a person like Stephen Bell go out there and get a win against Shane Tucker. Did not, didn't get the win in round two, but I mean, he ran virtually. They ran the same numbers. Jag 652, 657 with a two, and then Stephen Bell was 657 with a four. Just it was all on the tree. 032 for Jag and 037 for Stephen. That was a deciding factor. But great stuff by some cars that you wouldn't normally expect to see that level of performance. Eric Latino, Eric and Matt have been knocking on the door repeatedly this season. Matt with the No More Mr. Nice Guy has been putting it on people, and it's a great time to show out. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get around Erica in round two. She ran that 53 with a 5. He ran a 53 with a 3. Very close racing, all decided on the starting line. That his 034 light was a deciding factor to her 019. So a lot of stuff this weekend was won on the tree. So when I look at this class, though, I don't know if we can say it's wide open. I still think this is the Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson show until proven otherwise. But it also proves that you can't slip up in this class. And you slip up, you're going on the trailer. Eric Latino puts Dallas Glenn on the trailer uncharacteristically in 046 light for Dallas. I don't think I'd like to know how many times he's been in that range. I don't think it's very much. He kind of lives in the low 30s and below. I mean, they call him double O for a reason. There's a lot of double O's on his side. Not necessarily in round one this past weekend. I'm interested to see Matt Hartford. Can Cody Anderson continue to progress and get consistent and be a player? and I want to see Matt Latino get over the hump. I think they have the car to be able to compete with all the top 5 cars that are out there. I think they have the ability to win races. Um, it's these next few races and how these cars progress are going to be the difference maker when we hit the U.S. Nationals. And then from the U.S. Nationals to race 1 of the playoffs, it's going to be a big deal. This is where you need to start making your push now. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You look at the points for pro stock, and your leader is still Dallas Glenn. Greg Anderson is 21 behind him. You look at Greg Stanfield, it's a big gap between Dallas and Greg. And then Greg Stanfield is 157 points back from first. Both him and Matt Hartford. They both are tied at 765 points apiece. Then it's another huge drop off. Aaron Stanfield, 649, 273 out of first. And it just gets bigger from there. Eric Latino rounds out your top 10. Troy's in 9th, Jeg 8th, Erica 7th, Matt Latino 6th. So, really interesting. Cody Anderson is in 11th place, has 492 points. Oh, he's negative. No, he has 430 points. He's 492 points back. A couple more round wins, and going further than Eric Latino will bump him into the top 10. And I think there's only really 2 cars that could really probably bump themselves into the top 10, and that's Kenny Delco and Cody Anderson. Everybody else is just too far back. But I think right now, even as of today, Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson are your front runners and will continue to be your front runners until proven otherwise. I think Greg Stanfield has probably been the most consistent race car out of the elite camp. Matt Hartford has shown flashes of greatness, and has slipped on a banana peel more oftentimes than not this year. I think they've had some opportunities to win more races this year, but it's the nature of pro style. It really is. But really, really cool to see some unexpected suspects get wins this weekend in pro stock. The pro stock motorcycle call out, shootout, whatever you want to call it, really cool. There was some, but it's not enough fireworks for me. I'm getting to the point now that I think the call out needs to be retired. And I personally think that you can do qualifying sessions if you want. Me personally, I think in a shootout call out session, roll them off the trailer. And if we're gonna gonna let people get some laps under their belt before doing it, then in round 1 there is no call out. You can get a super fan of the weekend to take, and I don't know, you can use Plinko ball, you can use the lottery section where they have the balls floating around, and you hit one, pull one out like that, or you can just have them draw out of a big taco. I don't know, and let them draw the names out. You don't know who you're running at all, and you pick first, second, and you keep doing it like that until you get to the last 2. That way, no racer can prepare or has time to prepare, at least in rounds 1 and I think it's rounds 1 and 2. So I think that would be cool. It would add a different element, because chip draw is great, but I think the chip draw is kind of worn out and kind of old news. It's fun, but I don't think it's nearly as intriguing. I think if you go to a style of like a grudge race type deal, I think that's the best way to go. And nobody can prepare for the other bike they're going to draw them right then, and that's going to be that. So, would be cool to see that come, because I think the call out is just, it has the ability to be better, but it just, I want more, and sometimes, and most of the time, it's very safe. He said, Drag Race Mayhem said that was also Jazz's best career race day. To be fair, on the tree massive improvement. Yeah, I agree. She has made very good improvement when it comes down to getting off the starting line, because that's important, especially in that class. Another class that's really hot as well. You wonder what will happen next year with new intake in hood scoops. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not making me care about the class anymore about new intakes and hood scoops. I really don't care. Give me a real pro stock car, and we'll talk. Because right now, to me, they've got a 500 cubic inch mountain motor pro stock car is what they've got, and that's not pro stock. It's gotten away from what pro stock really is, and the cars need to look more stock because they're not. That's where I would think if you're going to make a massive change, that's where the change, going back to cars looking like what you and I drive on the street, would be a start. And um, you know, everybody made a big deal. I don't think some people did, and I guess if you want to have variety where people choose or not choose to have hood scoops, and that's one of the thing. Okay, that's fine, but I just don't think they add or take away from anything, and that doesn't, to me, does not change where pro stock needs to be, in my opinion. But cool. We'll see how well they do and what changes. I don't know if we see much change, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, but yeah, Pro Stock Motorcycle was fun. Kind of ended up exactly where I thought it would be at the end. I thought Angie probably could make some hay and maybe find herself in that final, but um, it was the Gage and Richard show. I knew Richard would be there. Wasn't sure about Gage because he has looked mortal lately. Um, but yeah, I heard somebody say that was has Vance and Hines been sandbagging. I can tell you right now, they weren't. I knew that from the first race of the season. The extra weight that they had added on to them was, they were working on trying to get their 60 foots down. And even still today, just because they ran what they ran in Sonoma, there are still times where their 60 foots aren't where MSR is. They fluctuate. They have not been consistently running low 60 foots. And it's just, they're a little heavier. How Race Media, he says, best thing IHRA did was make factory stock their pro stock. Absolutely. And thanks a lot for tuning into the show, man. I really appreciate you coming over and giving me a listen. But yeah, I agree with you. That was the move. And I thought that made it a great class. It made it fun to watch. Gave them a really big stage as well. But that's where I think pro stock should be. You know, you want to keep those cars. The current pro stockers, fine. Then do mountain motor pro stock as a class and make that either kill pro stock and make it mountain motor pro stock, or revert back to what they were, in our flashback that we had on the Power Hour with Dodge Neons as pro stock cars. I'll take that all day, and I think that's where it needs to get back to. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I would love to see a Cadillac as a pro stocker. I think there's so much that's missing right now in pro stock. You could bring the GTO out. There are so many cars that would be really cool being pro stockers. And we see some of them made in pro mods, but yeah, that would be really cool to see different versions of pro stock. And I mean, it would take some engine development and some R&D, but you know, let's get a Toyota engine out there. They make V8s. You know, I like I said, it would take some R&D to get that type of a program off the ground, but um, I'd like to see that. I mean, we got it in NASCAR, so why don't we run them? Try that in pro stock. I think it would be really cool, and you know, it'd be like we Dodge Neons were pro stock cars. It'd be really cool. I I don't know. I'm not catching that what you're saying there. But yeah, really cool thing for the pro stock motorcycles, having that standalone event out there, and it was a really cool race, I thought. But I'd just like to see some changes. Looking at Top Fuel, and this class is getting very interesting. I still think it's the Coletta show, Doug and Sean, but we're seeing some cars become more consistent as the races go on. Antron, they have started to kind of find their footing here as they've been going more rounds and qualifying better, and running better. And sometimes not qualifying is great, but they run great on race day. They seem to turn it on race day, and they've been able to they were able to get to the semifinal rounds. But again, unless Doug or Sean stumbles early, they're likely going to win. Those cars are just head above heels ahead of everyone else. We've seen flashes from Tony. We've starting to see flashes from Leah in that car, whether it's being assisted by a device or not. I don't know, but they have been more consistent. Maddie's car has been consistent for quite some time now. But when we go and look at these points, and you know, I heard people talk about you know, Josh Hart and team making progress, and I want to ask you, what progress are you seeing? Because I'm seeing a lot of the same things, and it's a lot of the same stuff that we said when Brittany was in the car. And I don't know whether it's worse or it's a much of the same. But Josh Hart sitting at seven in the points at 592, just right under Maddie Gordon. That car has not been consistent at all, and has shown flashes in qualifying, but on race day, I mean, you can pretty much count on that car going out to about 60 feet and wisping the tire. I mean, it's regular. I mean, are we seeing uh are we seeing Grubby have a case of the Alan Johnson syndrome that we talked about with Doug when they were having that issue? Because I can tell you, I don't see a level of consistency with that car at all. I see a level of consistency of doing the same thing. And that's not winning. That's getting out there and blowing the tires off of it. And they got new tubing now. And I don't think it's a weight issue. Both Brittany and Josh got to be around the same weight. They're both light. So that's not an issue. And I'm sorry, the guy ain't lost his mojo. He might be in a little bit of a funk, but he ain't lost his mojo. It's a naturally aspirated pro mod, basically. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's just fact. Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that, and that stinks. There are a lot of things that got killed that really shouldn't have, and really would have moved pro stock forward. But it's just the facts, though, Dave. I mean, the fact of the matter is the car isn't running well, and the tuners aren't giving Josh Hart a car to drive. I mean, we're basically going out here and doing 2 burnouts. And at some point, somebody's got to look from within and start from scratch and take baby steps to get back to where you need to. Because, I mean, I don't think anybody under you is going to pass you. Justin Ashley that car ain't worth a darn. They can't race themselves out of a wet paper bag right now. I don't even know if they could tune a go-kart the way that thing's running. Consistently not consistent. You can consistently count on them probably going out first or second round at this point. And we're not that far out of Indy. And you just don't turn it on come countdown. I mean, when you look at these points, Sean's number 1, Doug's 2, Leah's 3, Antron's 4, Tony's 5, Maddie's 6. There's 6 good cars out here right now. Josh, junk, take the tune up, throw it away, start over, burn it. Just burn it. Put kerosene on it and burn it, because it ain't working. Figure we'll have to do something different. Might have to put them canards back on that car. I don't know, but it ain't working. Billy, iffy, but it's been more consistent than that Josh Hart car that he's driving. His tuner's been better than Grubby. But I don't think, not a championship contender in my book. Justin Ashley, right there at 9, and Clay Millican rounds out your top 10. That's 4 cars. They couldn't take a dartboard and throw a dart at a tune-up and go out there. That's what you might as well do, because that's exactly how it looks. Ain't got nothing for you on race day. Now, those 4 line up against each other in round 1. It's a toss-up. I wouldn't place any bets. You might not even have both cars go to the finish line. Clay's might, though. At least he's been consistently doing that. And so has, out of all 4 of them, Billy Torrance has been the best one. So he probably would beat every one of the other 3 cars. But the other 3, I wouldn't put any money on it. I'll put money on the fact that they're gonna go out there and that car's gonna go out there and do a little twerking and sashaying and then give you a little smoke, and then it's just gonna coast to the finish line. I can tell you that. If they want to win a championship, it starts this next weekend. It starts at the next race. And if you don't start getting it together in these next 2 races and we start seeing more of the same, don't talk to me about championship. The championship lies with the top 6 cars. All the rest of you are shooting for next year at this point. If you come into Indy looking the way you have most of the season. And there ain't no magic wand. There's no magic potion. There's no magic tune-up that's going to change things by the time we get to Indy if you're still doing some of the same things in the next 2 races. And if you go into Indy stinking up the joint like you stunk up the whole entire regular season, you're going to continue to stink in the countdown. That's just the truth of the matter. Sorry. Truth hurts. But there are no lies being told over here. At all. And I don't know. I think everybody else, I think they're still doing this participation trophy nonsense. So everybody else, 11, 12, 13, I think has made all of the races. Everybody else has not. Will, Sean, and Tony, I believe, all made the races. So they'll be in the countdown. But again, if you're stinking now, you're going to stink dead. So it just waters down top 10. And it really could be a real fight between two teammates in Clay and Antonio, who's going to get the 10 spot. Now, Clay has room to pass Justin. They're really close, 484 to 455. Very close. It's a big jump from there. Billy's going rounds, and he's at 559 in points, so he's kind of got a cushion a little bit because those two cars under him, I mean, as long as he can get to the semifinals or at least get to the second round, he's always outpointing them anyway because they're usually going out first round at the earliest second round. So just staying ahead is all the key. But again, cream of the crop, I think your two cars that are to watch and who are making some really good push. And I don't want to leave Matty Gordon out, but that car's been performing quite well all season long. That's the eye test. That passed the eye test and the smell test. But you're starting to see Leah's car come on. That's why they're hanging out where they are. She's got that win, but the car's been fairly good. Antron struggled a little bit earlier, and then they started turning a corner after their win, and they have started to continue to move in a forward direction. Tony has been Tony. They haven't been too high or too low. They've been pretty medium. They've been staying steady Eddie. Hadn't been terrible. They hadn't been great. But they hadn't been terrible. So, and that's kind of where you want to be, I guess, when it comes down to your countdown stuff. You just want to be in the vicinity. You want to be in striking distance. And you also want to be running halfway decent. And you got to give them credit. They are running halfway decent enough that you can't go up and you can't make any mistakes because the car is going to go, for the most part, A to B. They very rarely shake them up. So, but I'm sorry. From 7 to 10, y'all got a lot of work to do. And if the work doesn't start to show up on the racetrack within these next 3 races, I don't expect nothing from the bottom half of the field. They're just filling spots. They're just filling spots. Let's see what's going on in the comments here real quick. Tech department. We know it is a joke. It is a mockery. You know, it's almost blasphemous to say the words tech department. But it cost us 4 round wins. Yeah. We're gonna have AI driven fuel cars in 3 years. I don't think AI is that great. Because if you try to use AI to tune on a video game, it's not always the best. Not always the best. Yeah, but I mean, Josh been testing the whole season. We've been testing the whole season because if he's testing it, it ain't looking good. Justin too, same thing. If they've been testing, throw it away. You need to start over. Do some other type of testing. Exactly. This is what I've been saying the whole entire time. I'm tired of guys complaining about track conditions. And that's a whole other thing in itself. I feel like we kill way too much time. This Sonoma race, and it's other races like that too, but boy, we kill way too much time. And the last time I checked, I didn't see a whole bunch of different type of prep when NHRA went out there and they had their series, and I thought everybody seemed to be working just fine and racing just fine. But these jokers have gotten so spoiled that they got to have it prepped and powdered and all these great things so they can go out there and they want to see the numbers come up on the board. And I'm just like, dude, drag racing is built on taking what the track conditions give you and you do what you can with that. And if you can manipulate track conditions to put up something that rotates the earth, then good for you. But this tune into track prep, which they've done occasionally here this season. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, because that's the art of being a crew chief. Is being able to figure out there's too much technology to be complaining about track prep. Sorry, you ain't always going to be able to run low ET every time. Blake says, he says, I hope Erica wins a race soon, specifically if my dad and I go to Pomona for the finals in November. Yeah, hopefully she does. And that's going to be remain to be seen. We have to really start seeing a push from all of the elite cars, but she hasn't been one of the best ones lately. That was a very interesting weekend, and she took advantage of it to get herself to the final. So those are always important. Gerda says every tuner should be able to put a car in a parking lot and make it to work. Exactly. I mean, these folks are too good to not be able to do it. So Billy T and we did see him really have some power this weekend. Again, his placement shows that it's not always there every week. And that's why he's an eighth. But out of those 4 cars at the bottom, he's the best one out of the 4 cars at the bottom. He says, depending on how the next 3 races go for JFR, Antron's the only real threat to Coletta's cars in the countdown. I agree with you because, again, although Leah and Tony have looked good, and again, that's proven they've been very steady. They haven't done anything. They haven't done anything quite yet to make themselves a consistent threat, if that makes sense. Same thing with Maddie. The car's been exceptionally well and uber consistent, just hasn't done enough yet to be a consistent threat. But I think they will figure it out. Leah showed this weekend that if they can put together 2 more weekends like they had this past weekend, and they've done it a couple times this year, they also can be talked about in that threat if they can do it another 2 weekends here on the west side. And Tony as well. But like I said, I believe there's 6 cars there's 6 good cars here, and going into Indy, as we progress, I think those are the 6 cars right now that are the threat to have an opportunity to talk about winning a championship. So Josh Peterson has the chance to be a hero and ditch the participation trophy system. He absolutely does. And I think it takes away from the drama that we have. Again, if Tony can go more rounds, obviously he's at 385, Clay's at 455. If he can go more rounds in these next couple races, and then you talk about Indy being 1.5 points, he could legitimately fight his way into the top 10. Because, again, the bottom half isn't that scary. We will go to Funny Car here in a minute. Said still only acknowledging the top 10. I am too, but we have to admit that even though we are acknowledging the top 10, they take away from that drama at Indy of someone piercing the top 10 from the 11th or 12th spot. They are stealing that from us. Says it's not track prep. It's you missed it. You got greedy. Why are we prepping for times during the pro session? I agree, man. Like I said, man, if we can shorten some of the time wasting stuff that goes on, the show would be faster. And I think we have to get to that point of having a quicker show, especially on Sunday. But I say it all the time. NHRA, we were talking about it this weekend, me and Dave, but NHRA is the king of time wasting. They know how to kill time. They do a good job of it. I should get into the countdown since I watched. It's pretty much how it is. Pretty much how it is. She said my mom and dad are Dallas Glenn fans. Mom is not an Erica fan. I get it. I definitely get it. I definitely get it. No pressure on teams due to lack of cars in qualifying. See, this is where me and Dave have talked about when you got 14 cars or less, it is now an 8-car field. And I know that would rub some people the wrong way, but I'm not in the business of watching people get free points. I hate it. Doug got free points because he qualified number 1. I think that was him. I don't like it. If you have less than 16 cars, we go to an 8-car field immediately. Don't want to have short fields? Help somebody. Because I think that would change the trajectory if they knew that was going to happen. It definitely would make for great TV. But it definitely doesn't make for great TV when you got short fields like that. It does not look good on the ladder unless it's even to where there aren't any buys. Maddie, with a little more seasoning, could be a major threat to the Coletta dynasty in a year or two. I agree with you on that. And there's some things that she hasn't faced yet, but she's driven that race car quite well. Especially when you're going 340 mile an hour. So she's driven that race car quite well. They just have to find the consistency of the home run hitter. They have to find that home run tune-up that they can hit every time. That's the separation between the Colettas and the other cars. They have found that window. It doesn't matter. They find it. They find a way to be the quickest cars no matter the conditions. They're not just going out there trying to hit home runs. You know what I mean? They're setting themselves up. They're taking what's being given to them, and they have maximized it very well this season. That's been the difference. Only time a crew chief gets any shine is when they set a record. Langdon was on the Athletic for 345, got none of that for their wins this year. I think that plays a factor in chasing the records. Yes, I agree with you on that. It seems like unless we rotate the earth or someone blows it up really bad, it's new. That's newsworthy. Outside of that, winning doesn't move the needle. Oh, we all know why, Dave. We all know why. I was pulling for you on that one. I really was. Which goes back to our lovely section body only promoting records and crashes and nothing else. I mean, we do hang on that a lot. So we ran 26 top fuel cars in Vegas for a 16-car field. Yeah, and boy, that is drama, and that is missing. And I think if you have short fields and you do that, you don't lose that drama of being able, somebody's going home type of deal. I think you always have to have that. We're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into our Drag Race Bracket Bonanza top 10, and then we'll cover Funny Car, and then we'll get out of here. So let's do that. We're going to go ahead and do that here. And here we go. This is your Drag Race Bracket Bonanza top 10. And a lot of the same players, a lot of not the same players, but this is very interesting. So your winner for the Sonoma Nationals was Rix. 32.761. Very close. 2-point lead or so for the win. Congratulations to Ricks. So here's your drag race bracket bonanza top 10, and it starts at the top with SST 5345 at 724 points, .063. He's been hanging around, he or she has been hanging around that top 10 all season long. It's pretty remarkable. Has been high as first, has been low as I believe 10th. Stubby 66, 722.423 in second. Black Widow 1320 in third at 722.379. Jerry 40 Ford, that's pretty creative. 720.108 in fourth. In fifth, James Lose 2 and 720.04. You got sixth, Jambo at 718.386. In seventh, O2 Plum 714.426. In eighth, Magic Z28 713.705. In ninth, Chad at 709.447. And to round out your top 10, it is Speed Racer 323X at 707.102. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your drag race bracket bonanza top 10. Really cool stuff, man. It's amazing how some of these people have stayed in the top 10 conversation. You talk about Jambo, James Lose 2, SST 5345. Black Widow's kind of been hanging around in there as well. The Magic Z28 has been in this top 10 conversation a few times this year. So it's pretty interesting who's been hanging in there. And I believe this is Nicole Clark right here. That's an 18. You can see I'm in the top 50 if you were to look. I am in the top 50, fortunate enough. But yeah, very cool stuff. And we'll close the show looking at our top 10 in the NotBland Show League. Well, Funny Car has been an interesting group of racers. And I believe it's funny. Dan Wilkerson seems to be, he's in 10th spot, but he seems to be starting to make a forward move. Made huge progress this weekend. They got to continue to find more of the big runs when the track warrants it. Ron, big day for him throughout the season, but boy, oh boy, it did not work out for him. It did not work out for a lot of people who are points leaders this past weekend. It is real. This weekend was fun in so many ways, but you have Ron going out here and really thought that he might be a guy that would win the race, and Austin puts him on the trailer. Austin makes it all the way to the semifinal round, which I loved that semifinal round. You couldn't have wrote that any better than what we had it. Really cool to see Jason Rupert go out there and run that 404 against Jordan Vandergrift. That car was dialed in all weekend long. Their slowest pass was that 93 in second round. But man, the car was dialed in all weekend. Even Jack's car was dialed in all weekend. Did not do so well in the semifinal round. And Daniel got the win on that, doing a little pedaling job. But you have a good group of cars here, and it's not so defined, I don't think, as it is in Top Fuel right now. Jordan Vandergrift with the win, but that was an excellent final. Loved the final. Loved that Wilk put up that 95. they ran into a buzzsaw, and it was going to take a tire. It was going to take tire smoke to keep Jordan from winning. It really was. They were just better than everybody else this past weekend, and more consistently better than everybody else this past weekend. But when you look at the points, Ron's number one. Jordan is 74 back, so kind of knocking on the door, being able to try to secure himself a regular season championship. Jack is in third at 764. He's 88 back out of first. Matt Hagan, fourth. Quietly fourth, by the way. If you look at Matt's season, you see, oh, okay. But if you just are sitting around and you mention it, you're like, oh, he's kind of had a quietly good season. JR, another car there. He's in fifth with 721 points. Matt has 744. He's in fifth. Chad Green is in sixth. Alexis, seventh. Austin, eighth. Spencer, ninth. And Daniel Wilkerson is 10th. Dave Richards, Cruz, Jeff, that's 11 for Dave, 12 for Cruz, 13 for Jeff. I'm not sure. I'm sure we're going to have at least 3 or 4 cars that have raced every race and will make the participation trophy deal. Really thought Dylan was going to have a better weekend than he did. They got behind and never got a chance to catch up. And he talked about that on the show here last week about getting behind, and they did. And unfortunately, not a lot of progress made this weekend, unfortunately. But when you look at this top 10, if you take the points away or say that everybody is dead even, I think outside of Alexis, everybody has potential to do something other. Some have been more consistent than others, but if you're looking at the points from second to sixth, Jordan's at 778, Jack 764, Matt 744, JR 721. Then it drops off to sixes with Chad 667, and then 644 for Alexis. I guess you could say it's a top 6 class, but each one of those cars in the top 6 has stumbled at some point and stumbled early at some point. I don't think you could say that there is a dominant funny car out there right now. Ron has done his best impression of trying to be dominant, but has been snake bit a few times. And Jordan, same thing. Jack, same thing. Matt, same thing. JR, same thing. And when you start to tighten this points up a little bit, when we have the reset, if Austin and the Procs start to find their tune-up on a regular basis, you got to start talking about them. They become a factor. Spencer Hyde could become a factor. He's been pretty consistent. They've had some times where they've missed the tune-up a bit, but they could legitimately be players if they can find some level of consistency. Dan, same thing. Could be consistent, just some level of consistency, and would change the trajectory. You can see this whole top 10 flip upside down in one race in the countdown because of the reset. Now, of course, those who get the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty will get a little bit of a bump, you know what I mean, and a little separation, but it's not a lot. So I don't know if you can point to any dominant car within Funny Car. I think this class has people who are making a push, but there's nobody that I would say here that's completely dominated the class and is a clear runner for a championship. I think any of those top 6 cars could do it. And yes, I include Shaq Green in that. Any of those top 6 cars could do it. And if we base everything solely on what happened in Sonoma, any of those top 10 cars could do it. That's the best Daniel has looked this season. Spencer has looked better at times, but they've been pretty good this season. Austin at times have found it. They found it and has looked like the old Proc Rocket. Again, just continuing to chip away at it. And we'll see in these next 3 races how it all pans out. But I really don't think right now you can say there's a clear runner. And there's some people that you could say that have an opportunity and maybe have a little bit better chance because of the way that they have been performing. But when you start looking at each car, each driver's performance throughout this point of the season, as we are, I think we're in the 4th quarter, I believe, of the season. Or we're still in the 3rd quarter, and I think there's like a 2 or 3 race 4th quarter. But with that said, we're on the tail end of this season, and if you look at it, each car has had points in the season where they haven't looked so good, and they've stumbled. So I'm really intrigued about what we see in this last push towards the U.S. Nationals, and then what we see in the U.S. Nationals will be interesting as well, because that's going to play a big part on our first race, our first playoff race of the season, of the playoff season. So this is going to be fun. I think Funny Car is really going to be a fun class to watch throughout the playoffs, because I don't know if we will have a dominant race car that will take it all. So, is that fan? Yeah, they cry about it for sure, but they cry about everything else. So, you know how I feel about pleasing fans. I used to love the bumping on Saturday back in the day. 8-car field is a no-brainer, but it seems lost to the NHRA. I don't think they want to do it because I think racers will be their own enemy, and they would also complain too. You know, you want cars out there, but you're willing to take the free points if given. And I just don't like that. That plays into championship. And obviously the winner or the guy or girl who's performing well, who earned that number 1 spot, earned the right to get those free points. But I think it just makes for a bad show. And it looks bad in a countdown system, because now in some cases, you already know that number 1 qualifier is automatically in the Too Fast, Too Tasty, because no opponent in first round, no opponent in second round, automatically going to the semis, automatically getting bonus points, or has the potential to get a heap of bonus points. And then they likely, and the way we've been seeing it, because it's been one or the other Coletta car, they're likely winning the race, and then they're back in there and they get bonus points. To me, not a good look, but what you gonna do, brother? Also, our teams cry for participation trophies into the countdown. They'll cry even more about some of them getting bumped. You know, you guys know my feeling on it, and I don't know what sponsor is beating their chest because you have been given a participation trophy. You look like poop all season long. Your win-loss record is well below 500, and you didn't do nothing during the season, so you're after race 1, you're completely out of the countdown chase anyway. What sponsor is beating their chest that they made the countdown at 15, and your win-loss record is 2 and whatever? You got 2-round wins, 4-round wins. Can't be beating your chest about that. If you are, I question your business model. After round one pro stock, all of the stories were out of red makers. Yeah, man, it was bad. It was bad. My ledger was pretty bloody. 30 points per round in Indy can make a difference in funny car. Definitely. Definitely. I think this is a dogfight all the way to the end. It'll be very close, and it should be a fun show to see who ends up being the regular season champion. Because I don't think we see the same people win. Jordan got a nice win. We'll see if he can go back to back here at the next race here in Seattle. And then there's Brainerd. We'll see what happens. I'm not convinced that it's going to be the same car that wins any of those two races. And I think it's going to make for a very interesting finish to the regular season. He said we shouldn't even be giving points for qualifying. If qualifying, it's qualifying. It doesn't need to have a points implication. I could agree with that too, because sometimes it's boring, especially when there's not 18 cars. Like, everybody knows that they're in, so some guys will go out there and go to half track and shut it off, or they might not even run. You know what I mean? Because they don't have to. It doesn't make for a great show. Qualifying can be boring. Between the mission points, qualifying points, and the ability to earn free Sunday points, currently, I'd argue Saturday means more than Sunday. Qualifying shouldn't mean more than race day. You have a good point, because if you do have a short field, you're right. I'm trying to shoot for the top spot, and if I have a short enough field, I'm trying to at least be one or two, so I can have an opportunity to have a free shot at points, whether it's one round or two. And that makes a huge difference. And it does add up those points pretty quickly. Drag Race Mayhem says you get 100 points for a win. You can get 53 from qualifying. That's broken. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be able to earn half a race worth in qualifying. 10, sure, not 50. I can't argue with that either. I kind of agree with that. Before we get out of here, let's go ahead and look at our Drag Race Bracket Bonanza top 10 in the Drag Race and the NotBland Show League. So let's go there. Let's see if we can get there real quick. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is the NotBland Show top 10 league, and for Sonoma, it's WPR 58 was the winner. Lonnie was second. Y'all see that? Memphis Lonnie was second at 44.64 points. Pretty good. Dave W in the top 4 as well. We'll go through each one. Top Fuel, WPR 58 was the winner in that one. The Pits Podcast was second. Pretty close. And Funny Car, Kelsey C was number 1 at 27.85 and 6 points. Second was Nicole Clark. See me rounding out the top 3. And then for Pro Stock Boy, look at that. I'd like to know. He picked some upsets. Look at Fred G picked up some upsets too. But look at the big drop there. 20 to 11. And then I'm sitting down here with 1.9 points. It was a disaster. An absolute disaster. So here's your top 10. Nicole Clark still leading us. I'm chipping away at that thing. Didn't help this weekend wetting the bed in Pro Stock. But she's number 1 at 697.419. I'm second at 680.159. WPR 58 at 659.723 in third. Mac 1320 in fourth at 636.956. In fifth, Memphis Lonnie at 608.666. I changed that number quickly. Sixth, Dave W. 589.349. Drag Race Girly 99 in seventh at 576.497. Iron Head Motorsports in eighth at 556.306. Kelsey C in ninth at 547.55. And Fred G rounding out the top 10, baby. 543.724. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, the NotBland Show housing top 10 in 2026. Really cool stuff. And it's really cool to see Memphis Lonnie up there in the top 5. He had a rough season last year. And massive improvement this year. And Nicole's just been holding on to that top spot. I'm getting there. I'm gonna knock her off that pedestal here really soon. I got like 2 races, I think, here, and I think I can get that top spot here. But yeah, a lot of the same players. And remember, guys, Dave W was at the bottom of this league. The bottom. Like rock bottom. But he's not catching me this year. He's not catching me this year. It's over for you, son. Maybe next year. But I don't know, man. Things get wild around here. I just got to keep pace. Like, can't make any mistakes and forget to turn in my bracket because I'm at a Sega event. Can't have that happening at all. He said, just riding strong till the reset. Yeah, that is true. Here comes that stupid reset. Save my best clutch stitch for the countdown. I got you. Yeah. We'll see. It'll be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. But man, it's been fun. We're trying to work on something for the winner of the league this year, and we'll get a little better. Hopefully, we'll start to get a little better and be able to give out some prizes after every race. But right now, we're not to that point, and it's a little difficult trying to manage a full-time job, doing Sega, and trying to book a show and do all the stuff needed for that. It's a little tough. I need an assistant, but I ain't got the money to pay for an assistant. So it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to be a part and to watch the show. It's been great. And it's been a great season so far. We're getting ever so closer to the NFL season. I believe it is next week. It might even be this week. At the end of this week, we'll start seeing people, some of the losing teams that were at the bottom of the league, start their training camp. So I am really looking forward to football season. Really looking forward to it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Until next Tuesday, y'all be good. See y'all next Tuesday. When the pressure gets woke, engine scream through the night. That F1 razor lines cut clean, turn sharp like a hometown savior. NASCAR drift in my blood. When the pace get wild, I talk speed like a veteran, move calm like a smile. Legends born out of sweat, out of heartbreaks echo. I break plays down smooth, call the game like a maestro. Every lane that we touch, every story we show. This is where the truth runs. The NotBland Show. Fast lanes, fast breaks, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch a moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with a champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show. Fast lanes, fast breaks, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch a moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with a champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show.